Wait.
Oh, is it on?
Yeah, it's turning on.
Guys, my Spotify listeners, I wish you could see Basoda's face. He is fucking baffled right now.
What the fuck is this?
He is beyond belief.
It's like everywhere I look, I'm like in a digital white space and there's like a 3D Oculus. I can't escape it. It doesn't matter where I look. It follows me.
Are you having fun, buddy?
This is so weird.
This is good stuff. This is quality content.
Here we are, another episode of The Trash Guys. And we have a guest today. CEO, how you doing? Hello.
Me.
Hello. You're excited? Yeah, because we're talking about, one of your favorite topics today in just a moment. But how's your week been, CEO?
Been good. Been busy. Been excited about, the announcements.
Right.
Apple.
Yeah. So I'm not an Appler, I guess you could say, but
neither am I.
Yeah, that's why you're on tonight's episode, because we need the perspective of someone who actually knows that company a little bit better than us. My experience is like I had an iPhone maybe 7 years ago once, and that's about it. But yeah, so there's like a conference, right? Like a developers conference or something. Can you like give us more insight on that? Like, what exactly is it?
Developers conference. They have it every June. It's a showcase of mostly software for developers so they can see what's new, and then they have time to develop programs, software for the new software coming out, because right now it's out for beta, but then in the fall when the new iPhones come out, that's when the new software is at the public release. So this gives time for developers to make new apps.
This is an Apple only thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I see. Interesting.
Yeah, see, I'm glad you're here, because honestly, if we didn't have some Appler information here, this probably would have just been a shit on Apple.
Yeah, pretty much. Just, like I said, I think I've made my thoughts on Apple clear before, but I think it is really interesting, a lot of what they're doing, and pretty much like the main topic that we're going to get into tonight on The Trash Guys is probably the biggest announcement that made at this conference, which was Apple entering the VR market with their announcement of the Apple Vision Pro, which I'm just gonna like get right into it and address the elephant in the room. $3,500 for what a lot of people are basically saying is like an Oculus.
Well, from what I heard, and CEO, you can clarify me, it's not even supposed to really be for gaming. It's just a computer. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, it's not even going to do anything like crazy. I mean, Apple's never really been into the gaming market, which makes sense, but like,
that's true.
I don't really need just a computer on my face. Not gonna lie.
I think it's meant to have like a new type of interface that has never been done before for like regular people, regular kind of computing.
The
like
normies. Yeah.
Like rich normies.
Okay.
Ooh. That's an important distinction, the rich ones.
Here's the thing I don't get. If it's for the normies and it's just for computing and doing basic tasks, why the fuck do you need a VR headset? That's not a normal thing. You don't just like go home, put on your VR, and I'm gonna get my calculator with my VR set off, or I'm gonna go watch YouTube. Like, you just don't do that.
But they want to make it like that.
It's not.
They're gonna make a push for that. That's what Apple does. They try to innovate. They do innovate.
Yeah, what I saw, and I think one of the features, I think I'll give credit where credit is due. I think one of the coolest features that I saw is that they're trying to kind of make. CEO talked about like a unique interface that involves like an actual virtual heads-up display, a HUD, from what I've seen, which is like honestly really, really cool. I think it's been like a kind of sort of cyberpunk futuristic dream of a lot of people, especially gamers, to have like a kind of real life heads up display that you could see wherever you're looking, which again is like, why aren't you catering that to gamers? Imagine how cool that would be.
See, this is where like this is obvious. This is kind of a separate topic, but to me, that's where the difference comes in between virtual reality and augmented reality. Like, if I want some type of like IRL heads-up display, things like that I can interact with, I want something as close to an augmented reality, something that's like not on my face, but like if I walk in my home, you see it in like futuristic movies, right? Like you could, or Tony Stark even, right? He's got that little like
Jarvis.
3D table. Yeah, Jarvis. He's got the table and stuff that he can pull up and he can like manipulate in the air, but like it's just what's around him, right? And that is something that I feel like if they were trying to get to would be really cool. Like, oh, hey, we have this product for your home. It's like something that upgrades your home, whatever. It's like a virtual like computer. You walk up maybe to your counter, boom, pull up a little screen. It's like augmented, you know? That's cool. I feel like if you're going to go in this VR like virtual reality type thing, it's like a whole separate scene from what's already been built on. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I play VR and I like the shooting games and feeling like I'm in there and involved, or like just the different games, Beat Saber and some of the other ones. There's this one I played. It's like a grapple hook game where you fly around and you feel like you're fucking Spider-Man. It's fucking cool. Like that shit's cool. That's what I like when I think VR and like what I am interested in.
Let's like let's actually talk about that, because I'm curious to know about from both of you, like what your experiences are with both VR and AR, because that's what it seems this headset is. It's like a mixed VR AR experience. So I'll go first real quick. I've never used a VR headset. There is one sitting right there in the background. It's just chilling there. It's an Oculus that.
Have you even gotten the tape off the box?
No, I haven't opened it yet. Should I open it now? Live Trash Guys exclusive. My first. Okay, we'll open it in a bit, but like I'm really new when it comes to VR. I think it's really exciting and really cool, but I might end up being one of those people that'll get like mega motion sickness from using it. I have no clue. AR, I feel like I do have a little more experience, but even then it's not much. Like the only thing I can think of is something like Pokemon Go, where you like pull out your phone and the Pokemon shows up in like your world, which is kind of cool. That, or if you remember, like the 3DS had like an AR feature, and sometimes you could have like kind of like amiibo cards that you could place, and then you scan them with a 3DS and like a little figurine or 3D model thing pops up. Very, very cool. But for the most part, it's still a very like new technology that I'm not familiar with. So I think the biggest draw here is Apple's going to kind of make that technology appeal to the masses, to make it a lot more accessible. Because I haven't had a lot. And what about you guys? Like, what's your like VR AR experience?
Go ahead,
AR was what you were talking about with the 3DS AR cards. I know in Pocket Camp, you can point your phone at like your kitchen and you can have little like Animal Crossing villagers come in your kitchen and like walk around. So that's like the most AR I've dealt with. For VR, my college, they had a VR headset and I used it once and played Beat Saber. And that's like really it with VR. It's the only time I've worn a VR headset, and that's so I have limited experience, but it looks really cool. It was really fun when I
Wait, did your college just have a VR headset you could just like rent out or something?
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's so cool. What the That's awesome. Like my college, you could rent out consoles and laptops. Yours is just like, yeah, also here's a VR headset if you want it, I guess. What the fuck? That's I'm so upset about that. What about you, Guy? I know you mentioned you played some games before.
Yeah, I played a handful of games on VR. I actually want to get this Tarkov VR version. It's called Ghost of Tabor. I want to get into that. But I've always been into shooters, you know that. So I've played quite a few on VR. As far as augmented reality, I think the closest I've ever been to that would be, I don't remember what it's called. It was called like Google Glass or something. It was like glasses, but it was only on one side and it had the little like thing.
I remember.
Like a little robot, right?
Yeah.
That thing just dropped off the face of the planet. Don't know what happened to that product.
You know why? Do you know why it dropped off? It's because it got memed to death. It was like the ultimate like bully magnet, because there was a selection process. I actually applied for it to receive like Google Glass because I thought it'd be kind of cool. And so there was a selection process to pick people that would be like testers for the product. And pretty much everybody that got their hands on it early, that was approved and selected by Google, they got like bullied for it, for wearing it. They got memed for it. And the device itself was banned everywhere. Like any kind of like concert venue or like movie theater or any type of like public show where you would normally have to pay admission, banned it straight up, because I think the idea was like you could just go in there and like start recording or even broadcasting whatever you were watching. I feel like it would have made
Talk about
it's kind
talk
of
about
like
being
how
unaware though.
yeah, it's sort of what they're dealing with like Twitch streamers nowadays who try to like stream in public locations. I feel like if Google Glass had taken off, the IRL streaming scene would have been so much more different. So I'm curious as to see what this like Apple headset could bring to that kind of market. But that's what happened to Google Glass is just it got memed. It got memed and banned to death, and it just never came
Gotcha.
back.
Well, similar to CEO, my college actually rented those out like for free as long as you turned them in.
So
They
is
had,
everyone
like,
else's college better than mine? Like what the fuck?
So I rented one out for a couple weeks, try it
Uh-huh.
out here and there, and it was really cool. Like you could hold it up to signs, and it would translate like on the spot. Like, oh hey, if you looked at some type of English sign and you wanted it translated to Japanese, it sits there and puts up the Japanese writing like in your eye, or like you could have it scan things, and it would tell you like what item it was, things like that. It was super cool. Which I think I was really excited for where it was going to take off before it just dropped off the face of the earth. But that idea for me is what would be really cool for AR versus VR, right? Like when I think AR, I think more of like IRL like assistance and helping in daily lives and things like that. And when I think VR, I think more like gaming and just being immersed in those types of things. I don't need, if I was in AR, I feel like that's when we get into those futuristic like things you see in movies where it's like, oh, if you die in this game, you're gonna die in real life. Like I ain't down
Not
for that.
SAO, not the SAO plot, dude.
Not down for that.
Okay. All right. I think okay, so I guess you guys have a lot more AR VR experience than I do. What do you guys think the like what do you think Apple can do with this like new Apple Vision Pro that hasn't already been done? Especially what do you think they provide that's different that will justify the price tag, which we'll definitely get into more later cuz goddamn.
Home movie theater for your face. I don't know. Did you watch the keynote at all when they announced the Vision Pro?
I watched the reaction of the people in the crowd when they announced the price, which was a lot of like booing and disappointed sighs. But otherwise, I've only seen a little clips in here. My what I bring to the podcast today is Twitter memes. That's my like area of expertise for this.
Yeah. So in like the videos I saw, it's like a video. Like if I want to watch like a Twitch stream, I can just like have the screen like in my eyes, but like in reality, it's like a floating screen in your house that only you can see.
So, Basoda, if you think about it, you remember those headsets we wore for Universal at the Mario ride?
That's what I was thinking.
Idea. It projects it out. It projects it out in front of you, so like you have the depth and things like that. However, if you watch the videos that they're showing, they don't. For the ones I've seen, I have not seen anything that actually shows the POV, like what it would actually look like in the headset. It is all just kind of CGI generated, like. It has a person standing here, and then it shows, like, it took a clip, and it's showing it, like, out here, like, actually away from the person in the videos that they're using to display it. Now, here's the thing. If they could do what they're showing in the videos, like, say you're on your phone, and iPhones have FaceTime, right? Say I'm sitting here, and I get a FaceTime call, and I could just have it pop up, like, over here, like, out in the open, just in space, like, they're showing that form of AR, I think would actually be really cool. Like what they're showing, I like the idea, but it's not going to be that. It's going to be like just in your face. You're going to have a FaceTime and you're going to have someone just right here in your eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? That's like holding your phone here on FaceTime.
Yeah.
Like,
that's kind of what I got the impression of as well from, again, the things I saw on Twitter mostly, but it's just, I'm struggling to find what like how they're justifying the price mostly, because a lot of what CEO just went over, you can already get a pretty similar experience to that via other VR headsets that are already on the market. Like sure, it's maybe not like an AR projection out into the world, but it's still like, you know, you could load up like an Oculus, go into VR chat, and there are like movie theater worlds where the screen takes up like your entire peripheral vision. And you can like one of my viewers does that. They watch my streams in VR chat, like through their headset and all that. and you can just do that. You can watch Twitch streams or movies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what is Apple doing differently?
I guess if we're talking about price, I was just trying to pull up their specs to kind of get like an idea. It's saying in each eye, in each little socket, it's going to have custom micro OLED display system, which featured 23 million pixels. So it's saying that in each eye, there are more pixels than a 4K television. So I guess that's where they're putting the money in for that part. So, I mean, that's pretty high def, but I don't know if it's needed. Not much info on the audio specs and drivers. Eye tracking simulations, but I mean, I think normal VRs have some of that anyway, maybe just not up to a certain level. They seem to have quite a few more spatial sensors than a regular VR. And running dual CPUs, and we already know Apple CPUs fucking prices are ridiculous. So really, it's nothing too crazy other than like really high def quality double CPU and a couple extra sensors compared to like a regular VR. Like I'm just comparing VR like headset to headset. Right. And obviously the name Apple. You know, anytime you put the name Apple on something, they're gonna.
It's basically a luxury tech brand. CEO, what do you think? What do you think about the price for this Apple Vision Pro? 3.5K, too much? Not enough?
It's way too much. Like I was shocked when I heard the price. I didn't think they were gonna create this new technology, or they're trying to innovate with the VR AR. I didn't think they were gonna set it at such a high price that it prices out most people. But that's kind of the thing, how it works. A company makes an expensive version, and then whoever can afford it buys it, and then those profits, they make cheaper versions. So I guess that makes sense from a business standpoint, but I wish it was cheaper. But I'm sure we'll get a cheaper one in the future, but knowing Apple, it makes sense that's what the price was. I read an article that they were going to guess it was $3,000. So when I heard $3,500, I was like, whoa, it went above the prediction. I was shocked. I was shocked.
I think that means a lot coming from you, CEO, someone who is a lifelong certified Apple fangirl. Like, you are 100% in their ecosystem, right? I'm pretty sure like every electronic device that you own, you even have Apple TV. And I don't even think like anyone that I know really has like Apple TV. I think it's kind of a meme personally, but you know, that's that's not the episode today. My point is, if even an Apple fan like CEO is like, yo, that's a little too much, then I think, I really do think they missed the mark. I would have said that maybe no more than $2,000 would have made sense for a VR headset for what Apple is trying to do. And then, like Guy said, the Apple name attached to it. That's crazy to me.
Here's what I just don't understand, right? Like, knowing Apple, you are not going to have any customability with it. Mm-hmm. When you get an Apple product, it is as it comes. Like, you cannot fucking, like, if I take my Android or my computer or anything, I can go in there, I can get different programs, I can customize it, I can do whatever I fucking need to make it mine. So you're going to get this product that is pretty much just a computer. They took their Mac, they put it in a VR, or their iPhone, whatever you want to say, for what it does. It is basically a computer, iPad. It is a mobile device that goes on your head that you cannot customize, do anything with. You cannot sync it up to other products unless they're Apple products. And they're saying it's $3,500.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't do anything different. Like, it doesn't provide anything that would make it worth more. I would rather drop $3,500 and just get a laptop. Like a good laptop. Like, it's the same thing. I can take the laptop around. I can hook it up to things. I can watch movies on. Like, I can do everything. I don't need it in my face. Why am I paying $3,500 to take a laptop that I can get probably for a cheaper price and put it in my face?
That's true. I think that's the biggest downside, just from what I'm seeing, is like how much they really want to put this stuff like in your face. You know, just I don't know, man. I feel I like I said. You know what? Should I just open that?
Do it. See what it feels like.
What it feels like to put on like a VR headset. Because you guys said you have fancy colleges that rent out VR headsets. So I don't have that experience. I've never put on a VR headset.
I'm really hoping yours has a little bit of charge, because I want to see you turn it on just so you can like get the feel of like a screen in your face. And if you can make it to the home screen, it has a little bit of spatial like depth to it, so you actually get a feel of what it's like to be immersed in something like that, rather than just having something in your face.
Do you think Facebook products come pre-charged?
If I remember right, when I opened my Oculus, it had like 30% battery.
2 AA batteries. I didn't think this thing would run on batteries. This is 2023. All right,
Is
well,
that, a
I'm,
Quest? Is that an Oculus Quest 2?
it's a Quest 2, yeah.
I don't remember batteries on mine. What the fuck? I
We'll
just
see.
charge mine with a USB-C.
We'll see. We'll see in just a moment.
All right. Well, while Basoda's doing that, CEO, I got a couple questions for you. How can you be so loyal? And nothing on you. I'm just trying to actually understand. To a company that I feel like over the years, talking about their phones specifically, I feel like they don't really change much with each new model outside of maybe like a new firmware, camera, but then they also take away like all of the type of accessories, right? Like they took away the iPhone jack and the fucking home button, and like they just kept making it harder and harder, I feel like, for some people, but then raising the price each time when really, when you compare one product to the previous product, like the physical components of them weren't really upgraded at all. Like nothing was made better in multiple cases.
Loyal because I know Apple has a vision that's bigger than these weird choices they make, like removing the headphone jack. I mean, I see why they're trying to make it an easy experience for people. Yeah, removing the headphone jack is annoying because like then you can't use your plug-in headphones, but they're trying to go for an ecosystem that's so easy you don't have to do anything. Like you don't have to plug in a headphone jack. You don't have to like touch the phone for it to open, for it to work. That's the sort of thing I see Apple going towards. It's easy to see how like some of their decisions are bad like, in the moment because you're looking at it like one decision at a time, but overall I can see where they're going. I think lately with the phones they're not making as much progress. I know because they haven't really been innovating on their phones other than the one that was released last fall with the dynamic island, and even that it had like some weird reception. So I say loyal because I know their vision, I know what they're going for, and even if they have some missteps along the way.
So where's the? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I want to say so you're subscribed to like the vision, to like the journey of Apple as a company. You believe that what they do is going to advance technology and maybe even humanity as a whole, and so you're like, I want to be on that side first in the door. I can kind of understand that. I get that.
Where I am, yeah.
Okay.
What did you want to say, Guy?
No, I was just curious, like where like the vision is. Like I've always been, not always, but years and years ago, I kind of got on the anti-Apple train, mainly due to like compatibility, right? So like if you get an Apple product, it's only compatible with Apple products, like money grab, business, whatever you want to call it. But like regardless of that, it'd be one thing if they were like, okay, our Apple products are only compatible with Apple products, but majority of our Apple products are fairly affordable. I feel like they take their Apple products, they say, we're only compatible with Apple products, and then they fucking skyrocket the price through it because they're like, okay, our Apple phone users want to have these other Apple products because they're only going to work with Apple products, and then we're going to raise the price because we know they're going to buy it. Instead of being like, okay, you can only buy our shit, but we're going to make it somewhat more affordable so that it's more accessible to more people.
I mean, they do in the past they would like release new products and they would be cheaper. Like when the first iPads came out, it was like, I don't know how much the first iPad was, but then the next year it would be more storage for the same price, and then the next year it'd be more storage for less money. And they had like a pattern of doing that. So they do decrease prices, and they do come out with models that are cheaper at a cheaper price point, like iPhone SE, iPad. They sell old iPad models. I just bought my mom an iPad. So it's just iPad. It's supposed to be like the cheapest. It's the newest, but at the cheapest price point. And so they do make cheaper models.
So you think the Vision Pro? I guess it's in the name, right? The Vision Pro. You think there's going to be like a regular Apple Vision for
Apple Vision
less?
S, Apple Vision X,
S, SE, Apple Vision C, and you know what? They're gonna do that Apple thing where they make the cheaper version, and it's made out of like cheap, colorful plastic. Like there's gonna be like a pink, like a mint green, a blue, a purple, because they always do that whenever they make like the cheaper Apple products. What am I supposed to do with this?
That goes around. That goes on the like the part of the eyes. It's like a cushion.
But this
So like on the
but there's already a
Let's see what-
cushion on this. There's already like a
so it's
like a
just an extra
foamy
one. So it's
cushion.
like a little extender. So you can put it on. Like people's
see.
faces are shaped a little different, and it'll just help make
Oh,
it
yeah,
more comfortable.
I've been told that I have a very weird shaped face.
I actually think you're supposed to put that on. I don't know. I don't remember.
This?
I got mine forever ago. I have a Quest 2 as well, but I got it years ago.
There were some instructions printed on like the packaging that I tore apart to open this.
Fair.
So now I can't.
You'll figure it out.
Read
You
it.
got it.
Okay, I'll figure this out in the meantime.
And I will say, like, I kind of got over like the argument of like Apple versus Android and like all that shit. Like, I really don't give a fuck. Like, everyone can just have their own phone. It doesn't bother me any. I've always been against Apple just due to the compatibility, really, for the most part. Like, I like the fact that I can go get this brand phone that I can hook up with this brand TV or this brand fucking speaker, or I can even hook up my phone to my computer right here. Like, I can literally make my Galaxy phone an extra monitor for my computer.
Yeah, the freedom of choice, I think, is what a lot of people miss when they buy into the Apple ecosystem. Because once you get like an iPhone, you know, everything that you want to do that other devices already do can only be done if you get other Apple. Like, and that's kind of like, that's always been, again, my main criticism of Apple is just the anti-consumer friendly policies. I do think that CEO is right and that they are a very innovative company. I'm not doubting that. You know, they made the iPod, first touchscreen smartphone, the iPhone, and
I have an iPad. I
Yeah.
got an iPad strictly to have Procreate because I'll admit that's a really solid like graphic design program, and I draw and do stuff on that. That's the only reason I bought that. I have an iPad strictly so I can draw on it, just because I'm like, okay, I can admit that's a solid program, that's a solid thing. That's pretty much the only app product I have, and that's all I do on it.
Yeah, I think the products are fine. It's just namely like the price and the practice of the company that makes it hard for me to like justify that and be like, yeah, okay, I'll buy an iPhone. It's like, but why? You know, I don't know. I guess for some people like CEO, if you really believe in what a company is doing, you'd want to support them, you know?
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Thing, it's on purpose. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, the side effect, they seem very like anti-consumer, but it's all on purpose to keep you in the ecosystem, not for like, oh, they're trying to control you, keep you in the ecosystem, but they're able, because they make the software and the hardware. Like, a lot of companies don't do that. They're able to keep everything. They're like able to optimize everything together. Like, I have an old iPhone and a newer iPhone, and they still work together, even though they're like so many years apart. And everything connects to everything, and that's supposed to be part of the seamless experience. So it makes sense that they're not compatible with other products, because that's not the goal of them. If that makes sense.
I see, and I think that's fine. I think that's why it's just going to be why. I mean, you know, good old America, why we have like different options to begin with, you know. If for me, I don't necessarily agree with that particular choice of Apple, but then again, I don't have to go Apple, you know. It isn't the only choice. The truth is, I can go with a cheaper Android if I want, and that's what I've been doing for like 10 years now.
Heck, I ran into somebody the other day that's still rocking BlackBerry. Like, that's still a thing. I was like, wait, what the heck?
Yeah, a lot of like business people like still use Blackberries because it was like the business phone back in like the mid 2000s before iPhone kind of took off.
Those things deadass still work as like a pager.
Yes,
like you just go beep, and like that's so weird.
It's wild.
I had a BlackBerry at one point, and I'm pretty sure the only thing I really ever did outside of text was play Pong on it, because you know they had like the rolly wheel in the middle of the arrows. You can just fucking, or not Pong. What the fuck is it? It's like where you slide the bar and it bounces the Brick Breaker.
Oh, Atari Breakout.
That one. Yeah, that was fun time. Good times. Basoda over here still messing around with his VR headset.
I have it. I have it ready to try on. So I have to take out my headphones for this. But
to our listening viewers, you cannot witness this pleasure, but this man is.
This is so tight.
And you have a ponytail, bro. Loosen that.
Let the hair loose.
Loosen that. No, not your
Spotify
hair.
Listeners are missing out on this.
Loosen that strap before you fucking squeeze your brains out.
I don't know how to loosen it.
On the sides, like the very sides next to the ear. There you go.
Oh, this. I'm stupid. Hold on, listen. You know, I will get this.
He's getting it. He's getting it, everyone. Don't worry about it.
Hold on. Okay, there we go. All right. That's significantly better.
There you go. And now I believe on the left side should be the power button. See if it turns on. You should feel a button somewhere. Bottom-ish? Bottom of the left?
I should have read the instructions.
Did you find it?
I don't know if this thing is powered on or not.
Damn. Like I said, I didn't know if it would be. When I got mine, it only had like 15% battery, like just enough to like
the
turn
power's
it
on the side.
Oh. Is it on the left? Was I right? Did I remember right?
Yeah.
Woohoo! All right, I
Hold
got one
for
thing
2
right.
seconds. Chat. No, it doesn't look like it comes pre-charged.
Damn.
Listen,
That's
like I said, I've never. Oh wait.
Oh, is it on?
Yeah, it's turning on.
Guys, my Spotify listeners, I wish you could see Basoda's face. He is fucking baffled right now.
What the fuck is this?
He is beyond belief. Holy shit, that Goldilocks hair. I forgot. Are you having fun, buddy?
This is so weird.
Yo, can we get a clip of Basoda's first time with a headset on, please?
I don't know how to explain it. It's like everywhere I look, I'm like in a digital white space and there's like a 3D Oculus. I can't escape it. It doesn't matter where I look. It follows me.
This is good stuff. This is quality content right
I'm
here.
definitely going to have to calibrate this because the screen's a little blurry, but that's probably because I have like astigmatism.
Ooh.
Oh, man. It's so weird.
Yeah,
Am I looking at the camera? I don't even know anymore. I'm pretty sure camera's there.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
I think I should be pointing right at it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's this way?
No, you had it.
I had it?
Oh, he can't hear us. Can you hear us?
I can kind of hear you a little bit from like my headphone. Wait, so how would I stream? Would I have to put this on and then put the headphones over? Oh wait, that kind of works, yeah.
There's actually an attachment you can get that hooks up as like a battery pack and plugs into the side that is that's headphones. So instead of the sound coming out of like the side of the Oculus, it goes straight into your ears. They have lots of little add-ons that you can get for it.
I'm not even like I've been watching this animation of like a cable being plugged into the Oculus headset. I think it's an instruction. I think it's telling me. Did I just hit the mic?
Yeah, you're like head first into the mic.
I think it's telling me to plug in the power cord or something. But I've just been watching this animation, the same like 10-second loop for the past couple minutes. This is crazy. VR is the future. I'm convinced now. VR is the future.
Now, is that a $3,500 future though?
I don't know. This was $400 and I didn't even pay for it. So, I don't know if it's a $3,500 future, but it is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. It is really cool, actually. I really enjoy VR. And like I said, AR.
I'm going to take this
AR,
off before I accidentally, like, crash into my monitor or something.
Just don't move.
Do AR? Or is it just VR?
Oh, God.
Wait, what was that?
Does Oculus do AR in addition to VR?
No, the Oculus itself, as far as I know, is just strictly VR. It's a gaming.
Do I have to use the controllers?
You can get like haptic gloves, haptic like chest. You can get all sorts of different things, but it's always stationary for the most part, or within a certain room radius. AR is more of like spatial and mobility and things like that. Like Pokemon Go is like a version of AR. Like you take your camera, you walk around town, capture Pokemon in real life, but it's more on your phone. Like that was like the first baby step towards like real AR. Well, not
Guy, my maracas are not working.
Basoda, take the headset off.
I'm trying to power it off, but it doesn't want to.
You have to hold the power button.
Every time I hold it, it just gives me a power off screen. Oh, okay. I have to hold it for more than 2 seconds, I guess.
Well, yeah, they don't want you to accidentally shut it off while you're playing.
Okay.
And I will have you know, Basoda, this is your warning. When you actually start gaming on that, it gets very hot on your face.
Yeah, I can tell already. Wow, what an experience. I didn't even do anything. I just put it on my face and turned it on. That's not something I want out of context, please.
Oh, that's going out of context. You don't really have a choice.
No. No.
When I go in and do the editing later, don't worry. I'll pull out that little snippet.
Oh my god.
We'll make it a sound effect for chat.
Okay, well, that was kind of neat. VR, I suppose. Now I have a bit more perspective on Apple's newest announcement.
Yeah, so I want you to take what you just saw, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to imagine that little logo that you were seeing,
Yeah.
it was displaying it like out in front of you. Like a movie, but you can only see it with the headset on. Like it has a little bit of range. That's is the idea, as CEO, correct me if I'm wrong, that I'm getting from what they're trying to do with this. Right? So like imagine you have that on and you got a FaceTime or something. The idea is that FaceTime will kind of be like out. So like you could still see what's around you, right? But then there's a FaceTime happening over here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That-
they want to
that
bring
about the
the
gist?
screen. Yeah, they want to bring the screen integrated into your real surroundings versus just seeing like your screen on a screen. You see it like on your couch. Like that's kind of the idea, but the thing with the Apple Vision Pro is they're doing VR and AR. From my knowledge, there isn't any other headset that does AR in
Yeah,
addition to
both.
VR, right? Because
I don't think so.
Vision Pro has cameras. I thought when I first saw the keynote that the front screen was transparent, so you could like see through it, but actually it's not transparent. There's what you see, your surroundings, you're not seeing them through the glass, you're seeing them through a camera in the headset. So that's a little weird. So that's where the AR, it's like virtual AR.
Yeah, you're touching on something I wanted to talk about, which was like one of the things that I saw that was being memed on Twitter is that for whatever reason they made the decision to have your like eyes visible through like the mask. So the VR headset I just wore, imagine that, but the whole time I had the mask on, my eyes are like poking out, like you can see them. And the weird thing is, because it's not an actual see-through glass, like CEO said, what it is it's like a 3D modeled rendition of your eyes that like the device takes and then displays on the outer side of the screen. So it's like, but why? It's an intentional design choice that they made to to let other people see your eyes while you're wearing the headset, which is like so weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm looking at a picture right now on Apple's website, and it's literally just what you described. It's a like a straight-on picture, someone wearing the face. They're doing this awkward like little half smile, and you can just see their eyes, and it's like,
yeah, it's so weird.
It is weird looking.
yeah,
But I understand their decision because they're trying to make it user friendly in terms of like it's an approachable product. So if you can't see their eyes, like if I walk up to you, Busser, and you're wearing that headset, like I can't see your eyes, like you might be in some other world. But if the other people around you can see your eyes, it kind of gives them a cue that they can approach you and you will respond.
I don't know how I feel. Like a lot of the videos they're showing is like people doing like daily housework while wearing this thing. Like, oh, vacuuming, doing the fucking laundry, walking around their house, just wearing a fucking headset.
Listen, if I saw somebody sitting out there on the street and the only thing I could see was their like 3D like virtual reality eyes, I would not want to approach them. I would not want to approach someone looking at me with their fake eyes. You know, it's just it feels weird. It feels weird.
We talked about the Google Glass getting memed on earlier, right? Like just the one little thing. Like imagine a bunch of people walking around with a headset on because that's their phone now and they use it for FaceTime and they're just like like fucking zombies around with their giant goggles on. Like the Google Glass, which was pretty minimal compared to this, got memed on. I can only imagine what would happen if people actually started walking around like daily lives with these things on. Like, could you imagine someone driving to work with this on?
God. Oh no. I'm like, we're not gonna have to wait long to experience that reality because this thing releases early next year, right? So like in half a year, more or less. So it's
year,
just
2024 or like
yes,
this fall? Okay.
like in 6 years. So I don't know. I'm kind of both looking forward to and dreading just the shitstorm of like legislation that's going to be passed. Like, you know, you're not allowed to Apple Vision and drive kind of things, you know, mothers against Apple Vision driving.
It's not approved by the FCC yet. There's a disclaimer.
That makes sense.
It's not even legal yet.
Imagine like a black market for Apple products. Like you have to go through sketchy channels to get your hands on the latest
I'm sure,
Apple technology.
Especially with all of the pixels and things that are going into those little tiny eye screens. There's quite a few tests that they have to do for safety if they're going to have that many OLEDs in such a small space. Like, OLEDs are pretty powerful fucking lights. Like,
Oh yeah, very strong.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that I'm just picturing what, like, just because I've been kind of scrolling through the website and looking over some like little clips and snippets of it, and just imagining like what they're showing, and just seeing people doing everyday life things with something just so clunky and so something that I'm used to being for not daily life things. Like, I would be gaming in this space in my home in my headset, and then I would take it off and go do whatever. And just trying to imagine people doing daily life things while wearing this is just, I don't know.
It's like for me, I feel like if you wouldn't do it on your phone, you're not going to be doing it with this. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to be like doing chores and then also, I don't know, like scrolling through TikTok at the same time, then you're not going to be doing that with the Apple Vision Pro. I'm sure there are some people that do that. Do you guys do that? Do either of you guys like social media while you clean your toilet?
No, I'm not sitting on my phone while I scrub my toilet. Like,
no.
Normally, if I'm cleaning, both my hands are like doing something. And I stop cleaning to like send a text or, you know.
What about you, CEO?
Do any technology when I'm cleaning. Honestly, cleaning is a nice technology break, mental break.
That's what I see it as well.
Yeah.
So it was weird that they kind of tried to push this in the marketing with like, hey, you could wear this while vacuuming and whatnot. I think at most what people would do when doing like household chores, and any like Latino will understand this 100% of the time, but like playing music, especially on like a speaker or like a TV. I know growing up, I dreaded waking up Saturday mornings hearing banda music blaring at 8 a.m. because I knew that meant that my mom was cleaning that day and I was gonna have to help her. It was the worst thing to wake up to every Saturday morning because you knew, oh, you weren't enjoying this Saturday. It was gonna be spent cleaning.
So just to kind of show for the chats here, I decided to add a little source so they could see the picture of the eyes that we were talking about.
Oh God!
So if you look over, you can kind of see like this. This is what they're showing. This is the creepy half smile fucking, like, tell me that doesn't just look like dead on the inside with this woman staring at you like that.
Yeah, that's I've seen the one as well. Let me see if I can bring it up for
so I just scrolled back up to the top of their page and it's just staring at me. And remember, I am like, while we're talking about this, I am trying to like learn a little bit more about it and like do some reading, but
remember that those aren't her real eyes either. Those are like AI generated eyes based off of like the scan the device takes of your face. It's what the headset thinks your eyes look like, which I guess are fairly accurate. Look, so I'm showing it on my stream as well. Just I'm gonna full screen this for the full effect, so you guys can really just stare deep into her soul. And just, that's unsettling to me. I do not like that. I would not approach somebody.
It looks like a character creation screen in a fucking new game.
Yeah. Again, for our audio listeners, I just want to describe this one more time. It's Apple's like Vision Pro headset, but it looks like the center of the headset is a little like transparent and see-through, and you can just see this lady's eyes through it, but they look dead. There's no soul in those eyes. It's just like staring at you, but also through you, you know, like past you. I do not like it. I'm going to get this off the screen now. We don't need to see that anymore.
I appreciate it. I feel like I'm in a horror movie right now. Something bad's about to happen. Don't open the door.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of that at all. What about you, CEO? Do you still have the same feeling after seeing that photo about the whole eyes through the visor thing?
Well, you made the point that they look dead because they're AI generated, and AI is kind of doesn't have a soul at this point. Knock on wood. So that is a good point. It is unsettling and not real, which is weird for Apple. But
so okay, big question, CEO. Big question. Yeah. Are you gonna get it?
Oh
yes, I want it so badly.
I knew it. I knew it. We should have bet on this. Oh, I knew it.
I want to be an early adopter. I want to because I would got the first Apple Watch and I got the second iPad, so I do my best to get the forefront with all the Apple stuff. I don't know, 3,500,
You're gonna have to pump out a
maybe.
lot of YouTube videos between now and then.
I know. I definitely will go to a store and try it out for sure.
And
I'd
also
I'll go to a store and try it out.
An Apple store
when it's
yeah.
out. Yeah.
I'd also like to give it a shot, but I think I need to practice with the Oculus a little bit more. I feel like I need a bit more experience with VR.
So party at CEO's house to try it out? Because I tell you what, I'm not.
We're not buying it. We're not buying that.
Yeah,
I'd like to try before you buy. All right, sounds good. So I know we mentioned earlier that this thing isn't going to, it's not like built for gaming, but I feel like that's inevitable, right? I feel like 100% there's going to be software developed for it, gaming software made for it.
I don't think so.
You really don't think so?
So with how, from my understanding, with how the screen is going to be built, along with the cameras and things like that, the screen is going to be somewhat transparent in a way to where you're not going to be, you won't be fully immersed like you are in VR. Like you just saw with your Quest on that you can't see shit really outside. Once you're in there, okay? The idea from what I can tell behind that is that you will be able to somewhat have some transparency through that screen from what I can see on it. And so you won't be able to do those games because I want you to imagine you're playing Beat Saber while it's here. And things are you can see everything still around you. That immersion kind of goes away. You know,
I don't have to imagine that because that already exists. Both CEO and I mentioned earlier at the start of the episode that we used a lot of the 3DS's AR feature, and that's exactly what it is. There are games that already exist that you can play right now today that are AR based and that kind of again.
Separate.
What do you mean separate?
Separate. So this, it's VR. So the idea behind VR is the immersion, right? If you want to do those other types of things.
What if it uses the AR functionality though? I didn't specify whether it was going to be VR or AR gaming. I just said that I think there will be games developed specifically for this device. And whether it's immersive or not, I don't really think matters because what's going to sell it is the novelty of it. Is hey, you have a device that does all these things. Plus, you can also now play a couple of, I guess, exclusive games on it. It would just be weird. I mean, it'd be as if the iPhone came out and then nobody ever made any games for it, which wasn't the case. We had some amazing classics on the App Store, right? You had your Angry Birds, your Cut the Ropes, your Fruit Ninjas, all of those games were developed for iPhone, and I don't think that this is going to be any different.
Were those iPhones only though? Weren't they just App Store games? You can get them on Google Play or through
a lot
iTunes?
Of them were
iTunes,
a lot of them were
Store?
A lot of them were App Store exclusive at first, and then they were ported over to Android. But it still remains that they were developed for an Apple device to begin with. I don't think it's that far-fetched to imagine that there will be at least a few game studios out there dedicated to making playable games for this new VR headset. It's like saying it's like saying a laptop shouldn't run games because it's not meant for gaming, which can be true. You can buy a laptop to do a bunch of other things, school, work, whatever, but it also does still have the capability to play games should you choose it. It's not maybe as dedicated of a gaming machine as, let's say, a custom built gaming PC or a console, but the option is there. And I think that's what we're going to be seeing with this headset in the future.
I don't know, CEO thoughts?
I don't think it's going to be bought by gamers. There will be games made for it, obviously, but this is not for gamers. It's trying to bring VR to the non-gamers.
Yeah.
And again, the normies, people, I saw there in the Apple keynote, they look like they were in a video editing studio, in an office, and they were video editing through the VR headset. So bringing VR to more, I guess AR, more, I don't want to say professional tasks, non-gaming tasks.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I don't think this is going to be something that is going to be changing the gaming landscape. I'm just curious to see what they do with it in relation to gaming, because I still think that something will prop up. Maybe not at first, but somewhere down the line. If anything, this will end up being like just like another novelty thing. Like, let's say for Twitch streamers, maybe a year from now, there's a few games. You'll see some content creators who have the headset maybe do some streams or make some videos where they're like, I played, Apple Vision games or whatever. And then there you go. They do it one time and then that's it. And then they don't use the headset ever again.
I can see the clickbait now. $3,500 to play this one game.
The title for this episode on YouTube, I think, is going to be 3.5K for this.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's still a ridiculous price. I'm still not over that price. It's wild to me.
I'm just curious where the price came from, because like I mentioned earlier, I haven't seen any actual IRL POV footage. Like, it's all kind of generated and animated, and they kind of put on like what their idea is, right? Which a lot of people do at expos and things like that. But the stuff that really catches me is the people that'll put like, this is actual footage. Like, this is what we have developed so far. This is what we're working towards. And like, I'm just not seeing that. So I'm just really curious to see how it actually ends up, because they have that price point out there without showing any actual POV. Like, this is what you should be getting. It might change. It's always granted to like change a little bit. But right now it's just like, this is our idea for what should happen. I don't see anything of like, this is what it's doing. This is why we priced it this way, It's
like a game trailer without gameplay. Kinda. Sia, what were you saying?
How would they even show? Well, what I was gonna say, I watched a video from a tech YouTuber, and he was at the conference and he tried it on, and he said it's like magic. Like, that's he didn't say it like that enthusiastically, but he was like, I don't usually call things this, but it was magic with the eye tracking, and to like select something, you just go like this, you look at it and you do this, and that seems like pretty kind of magical to me. Not like that. Pretty magical to me in terms of like almost like telekinesis, like controlling things with your mind. Like, it's kind of like that from what this YouTuber explained. Again, it's kind of yeah.
Again, it sounds cool, right? Like, the people who got to experience it, I'm sure, have a better idea than what I have. I'm just saying from what I've seen, from what they've put out to the general public. Yeah. Like, from a company that big, I don't think it would be that hard to take like someone wearing a headset, hook it up, and record what is going on. Like, you just hook it up to another display and record the footage, right? So, and then display like, hey, this is someone trying it on, and then you get the POV, and you'll see their hand in front, you'll see like the interactions. Like, it doesn't even need to be that long, like a couple little quick 5-10 second clips here and there, just to give that like that dopamine hit of like, ooh, that seems really cool, I might want that, But to the general public who couldn't be at this expo, who are just seeing all these computer-generated movies and shows that are like, okay, but what's it actually going to be like? Or at least me. Maybe like most general people won't have those questions. They'll just be like, oh, that seems really cool. I want to get that. I have the money for it. Like, who knows? Maybe I'm overanalyzing it, but that's just how like my brain thinks when I watch things like that.
I wonder if it'll do it justice, though, because like I've seen gameplay and stuff for like VR headsets, like the Oculus, and I put that on right now, and it wasn't really like what the videos I've seen on YouTube are. I really think I don't know. I feel like it'd be hard to capture the experience on video. It definitely feels like just any kind of wearable tech is a sort of type of technology that you can't fully experience until you immerse yourself in it. Just because, again, I'm now thinking like just everything since putting on the headset is racing through my mind. I'm like, wow, this is a lot more in depth than I was expecting it to be. So I feel like you would have to try the Apple Vision to just really, really get what it's about. And unfortunately, for most people, they're not going to be able to, because it's going to be price gated at that insane 3.5K. And I think that's like the thing that bothers me about the price the most, is that there's going to be a lot of people that just won't get to have that experience simply because of the price.
See Apple making experience centers that are just areas that just have the Vision Pro for people to come and try, just dedicated to that. Because I think Apple does want to get this experience out there. They know like not everyone can afford this, but I think they do want to expose it to as many people as possible. If they really do think it's that life changing, I can see them doing that. Like car dealers have cars you can test drive. This is
Mhm.
kind of a similar thing. Why not test drive this experience that you can only experience in person? Yeah, you can record the footage, but I'm sure Apple knows that it's not going to be the same as just wearing the headset.
Right.
I know you were kind of cut off at the beginning. Did you say they are making these experience centers, or they should make these experience centers?
I said I can see them making the
Oh, okay.
experience centers. Yeah.
Okay. All right. One thing I want to ask both of you guys thought wise, and I feel like I already know the answer, but just in case, um, do you think that after the release of the Apple Vision, we're going to start seeing the other major like VR headset manufacturers and software and hardware developers, are they going to try and take their products into the same kind of direction as Apple? Because we've seen it happen before with like previous Apple devices, right? When iPhone came out, suddenly every smartphone was using the same type of like, single button or sometimes even no button layout, and then like the full screen touchscreen kind of deal, and it just sort of evolved from there. And I wonder if VR headsets are gonna head off in the same way.
I'm gonna say yes and no. When if we're talking strictly like other VR like companies, a lot of them, not all of them, are really geared towards gaming. So I think what will happen is they won't be VR anymore, because right now currently VR companies are investing in more immersive like feeling,
Mhm.
right? So you can get haptic gloves, you can get haptic chest pieces, you can get kind of like rigs where you get mounted on so that you can physically run like in place, and it's like a treadmill under you and it rolls
Yeah.
and it interacts and everything hooks up. So you can do all that instead of just being on joysticks and being immersed visually. So like a lot of companies are investing in that, right? So now instead of just putting on a headset, you maybe put on a headset and like a bodysuit. So like if you're in a fight, it maybe like has some feedback, you can feel it, all those types of things, which I think is really cool for VR. But I think the moment you try and follow Apple's path, which is like more geared towards AR, you start getting rid of all of that. Not so much of wearing a bunch of stuff, but more trying to like, I don't know. There's a movie I saw about it where it kind of like you stand in a place in a giant room and fucking the room kind of shifts, right? It
Mhm.
augments that reality and changes, but you're not wearing anything. It's just the room itself that kind of changes and gets you that feel. So I don't really know if they would follow that path or if they're already on that path. I don't know. They could already be kind of gearing towards more AR, but I think when it starts following that path, it will become more AR than VR. I think VR is the immersed, I have this stuff on, I can really feel it. Does that make
Right.
sense?
I wonder if there's like I feel like there is, but if there's like a Black Mirror episode about like AR VR stuff. If not, there definitely will be after this for sure. CEO, what do you think? Do you think companies are gonna like copy Apple as they so often have done in the past?
I think the companies are going to wait and see how the product is received once it's out, maybe for like 6 months to a year. And then the companies will make their next move. I don't think, because with a phone, like everyone, before the iPhone, phones existed.
That's true.
The iPhone took off. It was not like insanely priced, maybe like $700 for the first model, something like that. So that's like people, like normal person could probably afford that. But the there's headsets are pretty new. There's not
Mhm.
really, not everyone's already using a headset. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's still like pretty experimental from Apple's standpoint.
It's
So
not like a as established of a technology as phones were when they made the iPhone. I get that. I get that.
And especially with what CEO said earlier, like this is definitely geared more towards non-gamers.
Hmm.
Like when you announced the first Oculus or Quest or whatever, every gamer was up in their chair like, "Oh, finally we're getting some fucking virtual reality." Or any fucking weeb that watched SAO was like, "Holy shit, it's time, guys." Like you get those people getting super excited. Now this is going towards those people that fucking have probably never watched SAO, have never fucking played crazy ass games. I don't know what word I was going for there. And now they're gonna get like this new experience, I guess. So I agree with CEO. It's definitely going to be trial and error, and the companies are going to be kind of hesitant to kind of see where it goes.
I'm curious to see is what they're going to do to try and ensure that this Apple Vision Pro is a success, because we touched on the Google glasses earlier, and Google's another like tech juggernaut, giant company, and this was a big leap in technology that they attempted years ago and it failed. So I'm curious as to like what Apple's going to do to try and prevent a repeat of the Google Glass. What do you guys think they're capable of doing differently than Google to make sure that this thing is a success? For me, I think it comes down mostly to like brand loyalty. I think Apple already has a good history of selling their users on whatever new piece of hardware they put out. So I feel like this might just be an extension of that, because Google before recent times, they were mostly just like the search engine company. You know what I mean?
You can go ahead, CEO, start us off.
I feel like this is going to be a weird take from an Apple fangirl, but if it doesn't, Apple has all the money and the brand loyalty behind the Vision Pro, but if the consumers, if it doesn't take off, I can see them killing it. There's an example, not as big, but on MacBook Pros, they had a touch bar. It was just like the screen on your iPhone, but like a long version of it on like where the top, the number keys on your computer. And I got the MacBook with the touch bar because I thought it was really cool. And it sucked. Like they got rid of it. No computer has it. They completely got rid of it. And same with USB-C ports. The computer I have with the touch bar only has USB-C ports 4, and that's it. They got rid of that as well. So they definitely have made mistakes, and if people don't like it, they'll just cut it. They'll move on from it quietly, but they will cut it.
Yeah,
so
I do remember the touch bar thing.
You remember it?
I remember them introducing the touch bar stuff, and it was really dumb.
Yeah, so I think Apple's gonna like put their best foot forward, and if their loyal customers love it, it'll take off. If they don't like it, they'll just cut it, work on something new.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I agree in the sense that I don't think Apple's afraid to just kill it because they have plenty of revenue and opportunities to take other paths. I think you asked what can they do differently compared to Google. I don't think they need to do anything differently. When the Google Glass was coming out, the internet was still in a very large state of growing, I feel like, compared to what it's at now. And memes and like all those ideas and vines and all sorts of things were kind of growing at that same time. And so when things started getting memed on and harassed on the internet, it was a very bad PR for Google, who wasn't really a like tech company in the sense like that's not something you would expect from them. Like you expect phones and things that kind of make like I have Google Home and like other types of things that I use, which are really nice because it's like using Google search engine, right? You just say, hey, Google, do this, search this. Like it's very simple, very straightforward. Google Glass was, I feel like, a little out of their realm. And so when they got all that negative backlash, they're like, okay, we're just going to stick with what we're good at. And they make a lot of stuff for your home now, and it's very cool. I love to use it. Apple, on the other hand, I feel like this is just something new for them to try in the industry that they're in. And like CEO said, it's really going to come down to if the Apple users like it or if they don't like it, because it's going to get shit on by non-Apple users regardless. Like me and you have already been shitting on it and we don't even fucking have it. So it's going to get shit on the internet regardless. And there's always, for the past few years now, there's been that Apple versus Android war, and it's just going to go right into that. And Apple's used to that by now. They don't give a shit. So they're just going to wait. They're going to see if it actually takes off within their own loyal customer base. And then if not, they're gonna be like, okay, well, here's our next product, by the way. Here's the distraction. So
I do agree with that as well. I think I feel like Apple's a little more and I hesitate to use this term a little bit, but I think they're a bit more like meme proof. Or at least they're more, they're used to it by now. Because like you said, they have their fair share of detractors, people like you and I, Guy, who just shit on the company. And yeah, they don't care. They have the loyal consumer base to back them up on whatever decisions they make. And also, like CEO said, if that's their focus is Apple users, I don't think they're trying to bring in too many new people with this headset. I think they're just trying to change up the way that Apple users are already living their life. And if it doesn't work, then yeah, they'll kill it quietly. I think that's kind of more or less the path that we're going to see.
I think this is an experiment for Apple. I think they're trying to see what types of avenues they can and can't take, and like what types of technology realms they can get into and see like, okay, can we expand into this kind of this universe world that is happening right now? So obviously you have they're not the pioneers this time, right? They're following other VR creators and other headset creators and things like that. It's not like they're releasing the first headset for other people to then follow. So it's definitely going to be a different take for them, I feel like.
Right. All right. I think I've pretty much covered just about like everything I wanted to as far as the Apple headset. Is there anything else you guys wanted to bring up real quick?
I think I'm good. I don't really know too much else to say. Like you said, I think we covered it all.
Yeah, just it is huge news, and I am, going to keep an eye on it. This is probably the most interested in Apple that I've been in a couple of years. So, I guess that's a net positive for them, that the certified Apple hater is now just kind of like all right, well, hey, this thing you're doing is interesting,
If you're like remotely interested in this, go watch the keynote. Like you don't have to watch the whole keynote, just the end when they talk about the Vision Pro.
Right.
I think that like hearing it from Apple themselves will explain a lot.
I think what's most interesting is the mixed VR AR aspect to it. I think that's what's going to set it apart, and that's what's going to be like the most interesting thing for me to look out for.
I am really just interested because I know that a lot of companies, when they no longer use a product, they will slowly kill off like the support for it, right? They'll slowly let the servers start dying and things like that before killing it. So I'm curious that if this does die, right, it's obviously going to be like its own thing, like how the support and things like that will kind of fade off. Like I'm just curious how Apple will handle that, because with the touch bar, when that died, I guess it wasn't really hard to just stop making computers with touch bars. And then if it broke and someone brought it in, they were just like, hey, well, fuck you. You got to get a new laptop because we don't do that anymore. So obviously they can't just be like, oh, we can't fix this. Here's this version of the headset if they're going to stop making it. So I wonder what avenue they would take with that, because I know Apple loves to, I've been to with a few friends to Apple like repair shops, and they love to just be like, oh, well, you have to get a whole new product. We can't give you this piece anymore or whatever. So I'm curious to see how that would go.
What happens if it breaks? If your Apple Vision Pro breaks or needs repairs? Is it going to be like the whole same troublesome fiascos, like trying to repair or fix up your iPhone, or what?
Yeah, I know, like, you would probably have to bring it back to Apple. They probably will have some system in place if this is like a brand new category for them.
A Genius bar just for the headset?
Real quick, before we get to the end, I wanted to ask CEO, because I heard about this, but I didn't actually verify any information. Is it true that Apple recently switched their help, like their stores? Like, one, you can only make online appointments anymore to go get things fixed, computers, phones, things like that. You can't do walk-ins anymore. And you can also only get like online help first or something like that. Like, I don't know. I was listening to something, and it was like they made it extremely difficult for people to get repairs because of no walk-ins. You can only do online stuff. You have to like call a help desk and try and do it manually first yourself before they even let you make an appointment to take it in to get fixed. I don't know the validity behind this. It's just something I heard like a couple weeks back via the
anything about that. I've heard nothing about that. The only thing that remotely sounds similar is like peak of COVID. I know when I had to go to the Apple store in like 2020, you had to try it yourself, and then you had to make an appointment, and there were no appointments to see the Genius bar. I don't think it's like that anymore. They probably prefer you to make an appointment, and maybe they'll try to push you to try to fix it yourself, but you can definitely walk in for a repair.
Okay, that's good. Like I said, I didn't know the validity behind it. I think I saw something on Twitter about it, and I was like, oh, and just kind of scrolled past it. But while we were talking about Apple, it popped into my head. So I thought I'd ask the local Apple professional if that was true or not, because I didn't have any concern at the time to even look into it.
And I think maybe some Apple stores are still not allowing walk-ins, but generally you can walk in.
Oh, okay. I feel like it depends on the place, because I remember when I still had an iPhone, you also had to make like an appointment. I think what you could do is you could walk in and then make an appointment when you walk into the store, and then you'd have to come back at a different time or on a different day entirely. But that's how it was for me a couple years ago. I don't know if it's still the same nowadays. Again, I haven't had an iPhone or any Apple product since like 2016, 17. But I do remember, I'll never forget. I love telling the story because it's kind of like the thing that sort of pushed me away from Apple. But back when I did have an iPhone, I did this, I was having issues with it. I did the same thing as everybody else, make an appointment with the Genius Bar, show up, and I'm like, hey, here's my iPhone, have an issue with it. Can you fix it? And they do the whole like, all right, well, we're going to take it to the back and take a look, right? And they do that. They come back and they're like, yeah, so your phone is fucked. Like, sorry, it's broken. We can't fix this issue, so why don't you, and they bring out like another employee, like, here's our consultant, our Apple expert, and she can walk you through like some of our newer phones. And I'm like, too nice to say I'm not interested, so I let her do the whole spiel, and she's like, yeah, here's our newest iPhone, or like a consumer model of our iPhone, which is like Apple speak for poor, the iPhone for poor people. She's like, yeah, it's $700, would you like to purchase one today? And then the whole time she's talking, I'm looking at another employee in the back who has like this little, it's like a little like metal pick on his keychain, and he's like doing something with somebody else's phone. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, 700, yeah, okay. No, thank you, no, thank you. See you later, goodbye. And I go to this employee, and I walk up to him and was like, what is that? And he's just like, oh, it's a tool to open up the SIM card thing, because my issue was SIM card related. And so I'm just like, how do you do that? Can you show me how to do that? He's like, yeah, you just literally use this tool or anything like a paperclip. Shows me how to open it. And so I try it myself. And it's literally like I just had to readjust the SIM card on that slider that opens up, and it fixed my issue. Which is like, okay, why did I spend all this time at the getting the Apple professionals to look at my phone only to tell me that it's busted and I need to pay $700 for a new one, when I was just able to, like, I don't know, do a little bit more research and fix the problem myself. At that point, I was just like entirely turned off from Apple, because this wasn't the first time they had like done something like that to me or my friends. It was just kind of like, I don't know, man. Maybe my specific Apple store was very incompetent. That is definitely a possibility, just because someone works for Apple doesn't make them like an expert in their tech. But it's just, it was really, I don't know. At that point, I was like, all right, once this iPhone is like actually broken, I think I'm just going to move to like something else. I ended up getting a Google Pixel afterwards, and I've been very happy with it ever since, like 5-6 years later, and it's still going strong.
I've been into an Apple store with friends and family because I've never owned an Apple product outside of my iPad that I have currently. But I've been in a handful of times, and every single time I've gone in with a friend or family, regardless of what the problem was, it was always, oh yeah, you got to get a new product. I've never heard them offer like, oh yeah, it's this issue, it's going to be this much. Like, oh, we can replace this part, it's going to be this much, or like options. It's just the same thing you said. It's, oh yeah, it's fucked. You got to get a new one. And I'm like, okay, that seems so not right.
Because like that's my concern for the Apple Vision is like, what if you like, because it's a lot, $3,500 is a huge investment. So if you buy it and you have issues with it, what's going to happen? Are they just not going to attempt to fix it? I know there's like warranties and all that, but my phone was still under warranty when they told me like, yeah, we can't fix this. You'll have to pay for a new one, which was like, damn, that sucks that, I didn't get that. I don't know. It was a whole fiasco for it. But I don't know. I'm just a little concerned for people that don't quite get what they're looking for out of the Apple Vision Pro. And if there's an issue with it, what's going to be the alternative? They just have to buy a new one, or are they just out $3,500 products,
And you bring up, because I've had so many Apple products, so I have a lot of different answers when I've gone in with broken products. I'll talk about my Apple Watch, because I had the first Apple Watch, and I was thinking about it actually today. It was the first one, and maybe 7 months later, it had a crack in it, and the display it was very dim. And I went to the Apple store, and they said, "Oh, we can't fix it." And I think they gave me an option to replace it for like a refurbished one for like $300 maybe. it was just cheaper. No, it was not. It was a little more money to just buy a new one. And that's what I did. And now I'm worried for the Vision Pro because they might do that too. But my watch was not $3,500. I think they're going to need to have some additional support for this revolutionary and expensive device. I can't see it succeeding if they don't have these extra like security measures in place, because people aren't going to spend this much money to find out that Apple will like just like dump you. I mean,
people are going to be pissed if they have to, if they get the same treatment for any issues that arise with the Apple Vision as, you know, like Guy and I have had with our own like Apple devices. People are not going to be happy, you know.
No, and honestly, I feel like we're almost starting to repeat ourselves, but a lot of it at this point is just speculation anyway.
This is
fucking
true.
Who knows? It might release, and everything that we thought was gonna be wrong with it might actually have been fixed and thought about, or everybody that's an Apple lover that was like really excited about it might get it and be like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like, this
I would like to be
nothing what we promised. Like, who fucking knows?
I would like to be proven wrong, because like I said before, a lot of what Apple does with their products is very innovative. You know, that's I'm not trying to like deny anything they've done in the past. So I would like to see something like this succeed, because if it does, what it means is we'll have some other company follow in their footsteps and maybe make a more consumer friendly version of this headset. You know, we may not be able to buy or may not want to buy the Apple Vision when it releases next year, but maybe in like 2-3 years, there'll be, I don't know, like an HTC, or maybe even Facebook does it as well. I don't know, some other company that tries to mimic that experience and offer a similar product at a considerably better price. So who knows? Like I said, the idea of what Apple is doing is fascinating, and I am genuinely excited about it. And like I said, it's the first time I've been interested in anything Apple in quite some time.
I think the idea of just where technology is going in general, AR, VR, AI, all of that craziness, Chat GPT, we got all sorts of shit happening right now just throughout the world. And so honestly, in the next 5 to 10 years, who knows what the fuck we'll have. Little off topic, but just kind of the technology itself was really cool to read about. There was this company working on drones for the military, and the drones were like set to scan for targets, and the drone would ask the controller, say like, I'm in charge of the drone. The drone's doing everything. I'm just sitting here telling it yes or no. Like, hey, you can destroy this target. Hey, you can't. The drone was AI created, and what would happen when the people would start telling the drone no, because the drone got like bonus points if it destroyed enemy targets, right? Is it would start turning on the controller, like in the simulations. It would start trying to deactivate communications or target the controller or whoever it was. Then once they fixed that problem, what would happen is the drone would just start ignoring commands. And it would just be like, you know what, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. So like with where AI and VR and AR are at already, like I'm excited to see where it goes, but also kind of scared at the same time. I'm like, what the fuck? So
You think the Apple Vision headsets are going to be like the chum buckets from the SpongeBob movie, where everyone puts one on and then it just like overrides our brain and takes over, mind controls us, or what?
Apple's like, we got you fuckers now. Tricks on you, Apple. No one's buying it other than Apple users.
Imagine. Yeah, that's like, you know, whatever. It is what it is. Good luck, CEO.
Thanks.
I wish you well in the upcoming Apple AI wars.
The Applegeddon.
Yes, Applegeddon. All right. Any final thoughts?
I think I've said my piece. I think CEO, local Apple expert here. What are your thoughts?
I am really excited to see where the technology is going. I remember when I watched the keynote, I was like really excited, and then I was like really scared. I was like, this could go really badly or really well, and probably a combination of both. So I'm excited. I'm excited to just see what the future holds.
I'm sort of in the same boat, you know. Really interested in the product and the like prospect, the potential of it, the 3 Ps, but also like, goddamn, dude, that price. Holy shit, that price, man. I can't. It's just, I'll have to try it. I probably will just head over to CEO's house when she gets in, give it a spin for myself. Because I'm not paying, like 2 months worth of rent for that.
That's 3 months of my rent.
Okay, well that's like for my whole apartment. If we're just including my share, that is like half a year. That's like half a year for me. So, not the smartest investment. Not something I would wanna make. But yeah, I think that is just about it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you for coming in, CEO. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you, CEO, for being a guest on our podcast today. I'm glad we were able to get the perspective of someone who is much more familiar with, Apple products as a whole and whatnot.
And took a little bit more interest in the keynote and got a little bit more information, because I will admit I was not as informed up until mid-podcast where I was doing some research.
I looked at Twitter memes. So, my tech takes are to be taken very, not seriously.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, of course. Feel free to come back any other time. Maybe next time we can talk about Animal Crossing or something. You need to play it. You need to play the Animal Crossing first. We can't have that Animal Crossing episode. It's gonna. I'll tell Jess. She'll make it happen.
You can't use her against me. That's cheating.
All right, but that is going to be it for today's episode. One more time, thank you, CEO, our guest. Speaking of Animal Crossing, if you want to go check out some amazing Animal Crossing content, please go follow her over at twitch.tv/ceomg. Check her out on YouTube as well. Watch all her videos. Help her fund her Apple Vision Pro that she needs to save up for now. And yeah, that's going to be it. Guy, when are you streaming again?
I am actually going to go ahead and be streaming right after this podcast show. I'm going to take a quick little 10-minute break. I am trying to get back into my night streams.
Nice.
Doing a little bit of experimenting right now. So we'll kind of see where it goes after the next couple weeks. But I will be taking a little break and be live, probably just playing some Diablo, grinding it out a little bit,
Cool. I'll be live again tomorrow around the same time as right now, and I'll be continuing Zelda. I'm hoping to try to finish it this week, because I feel like I'm kind of lagging behind. I feel like everyone and their mother has already finished Zelda. It's been out for a little, just about a month now. But yeah, this was fun, and look forward to the episodes being uploaded later this week on YouTube and Spotify if you prefer that as well. That's going to be it. I've been Basura. That's been Guy. That's been CEO. Anything else? Any final words?
Chat, everyone listening, you guys have a great rest of your night, and we will see you next time, all right? We love you all.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See ya.